What up, Dokkaners? So I wanted to do another follow-up on the 8-year anniversary fan meetup that was held a couple of days ago for JP players. The top 50 players from the JP World Tournament were able to attend in person, and they got to go see some pretty cool stuff, and they also got some pretty cool prizes and items. They got to take part in this like speed battle play test thing together. It was a pretty cool experience for them. I wish that there's something like this on the global side. Obviously that's never going to happen because logistically it would be so expensive and it'd be such a nightmare for them to organize. Plus, global being behind JP, it would really not serve them very well to actually have like breaking news take place on a global scale when we've already got it on JP. So in terms of this ever happening on the global side, don't expect it, but it's just nice to dream about it, you know? Like, look at this, like they got an illustration book, they got Peton battle cards. Being able to attend a venue where like other people who also love Dokkan are there with you has got to be such a nice feeling. Being able to attend an event with the other 49 crazy Dokkan World Tournament players, that's got to be cool. Like, how many hours did you spend doing World Tournament? Did you have a friend do it? Like, that's got to be cool. So shout out to all of the JP Dokkaners who got to attend, all of these different images that they've been posting. Pretty cool stuff. I'm pretty jealous, but that's not what this is about. Today's video is going to be following up on the question and answer segment that took place during that live stream event. You guys might have seen it on the live stream with myself, or you might have seen the recap video that I made discussing what was said in that video. Now, at the time of that recording, I had to get the video out quickly, and I was basically going off of what Garesh had said in his synopsis of those translations. But unfortunately, Garesh was not able to fully translate every bit of the comments that were made. He had to summarize it up. So he actually took the time to fully translate and transcribe everything that was mentioned in these little slides right here. So we're just going to go through these and take a look. Huge shout out to Garesh for doing this. He did not have to, but there's a lot of nice info in there that the producer does talk about, which just speaks to how much there's going to be potentially coming up in the future of Dokkan. Two major things that you guys might already know about. Number one, the pity system was addressed. Number two, 10 years of Dokkan, folks. This game is not going away anytime soon, and we're going to be seeing why in some of these comments. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail here. So we'll start from the top. A vote was held both at the fan meeting itself for attending the in-person event and with the online arena within the Battle Hour app, where two questions were asked, seeing the voting results and accompanying producer comments below. So let's take a look at this first. What are you most excited or most concerned with during fights with difficult enemies? Making use of crits and additionals to defeat enemies with offensive power, making use of defense raising, damage reduction, and guard to defeat the enemy carefully, utilizing both offense and defense while playing to each character's strengths. I don't care about either. It doesn't matter as long as the enemy is defeated. So out of all of these options, defense raising, damage reduction, and guard was understandably so the number one choice. What did the producer have to say about that? Let's take a look here. So let's see what he says. With the current environment of the game, it's not surprising that most people are gravitating towards defense due to how hard a lot of the bosses hit for. Makes sense. Unfortunately, that does limit some of the units that you can use on certain events, which I don't know if that's something that they're trying to also integrate in the future, but I mean, you know, Dokkan is how it is now and it doesn't seem to be changing. So moving on. Second voting result here. Which of the following gives you the biggest feel-good moment in Dokkan for you? This one's a little bit more evenly spread. When animations with intense voice lines play, when Dokkan original background music play, when I feel I'm able to defeat a strong enemy, or when I'm able to finally defeat a strong enemy, when I'm able to use various skills and effects to play effective exactly how I want. So everything is pretty much even here. The slight edge goes to the animations and the voice lines. So let's see what the producer says here. Right now for Dokkan, we feel that our animations have been receiving high praise from a lot of players. With the addition of voices on top of those animations, we're able to recreate scenes from the series that resonate with a lot of people. Understandable. Animations have been getting better year after year. Looking back at year one, year two animations, it's just insane to see where we've come. So I can't even imagine how much better it's going to be in a couple of years. Because this game is going to be going on for some time, folks. As much as some of y'all may not want that to be the case, Dokkan is here to stay for at least, I'm going to say at least 3 to 4 more years. At least. Minimum. Let's continue on here. So that's it for the voting segment. Now we go on to the question and request corner. Okay. In-person attendees of the fan meeting had the opportunity to submit either questions or requests to the producer. Oh my gosh. I can't some of the requests, I would imagine, make Cellmax less difficult. Actually, you know what? No, these are 50 of the finest World Tournament players. They probably wouldn't say that. Make the friend system better. Make I can't imagine how many Beast Gohan comments were in there. The below images outline these questions and requests along with the responses from the producer. Let's take a look here. 7 questions, folks. Why is the Ultimate Red Zone limited to only 3 attempts per day? After pulling the new characters, I really want to test out their abilities, but these limitations act as a bottleneck. I want you to implement high difficulty events that don't have these kinds of restrictions. So what does Omatsu have to say about this? It seems that a lot of people feel similarly to the person who submitted this question. However, we are not currently considering the removal of these restrictions from a general standpoint. On the other hand, we are considering relaxing these restrictions a bit during special campaigns such as the anniversary. I'll be sure to discuss this with the rest of the development team. Kind of honestly, it makes sense. I don't agree. I wish that they would loosen the restrictions overall in general. But the fact that they would be doing this for special anniversaries or special celebrations makes a whole lot of sense, because that's literally what they're doing right now with other events. Dokkan events are only available on certain days. Extreme Sea battles are only available on the campaigns that they pertain to. If you want them all available, they have to be happening during some sort of a marquee celebration, a la joint celebration, anniversary, worldwide download, things like that. So whenever those things do happen, all EZAs become available, all Dokkan events become available. So likewise, all Red Zone stages will become completely free to use, unlimited attempts. That will bring more traffic and more attention to the celebration at hand, and that will also allow them to potentially snag a couple Dokkanners here and there who might fall for a Pilaf's Trove or some sort of special pack or things like that. So in terms of a business standpoint, this makes sense. I don't personally agree, but in terms of how they would want to handle this, I think they're doing it probably the way that they should, because this will say like, okay, ooh, that's awesome. 8-year anniversary, Red Zone comes back unlimited. I can't wait to play. I can't wait to be in there for hours playing that game. So, you know, makes sense to them. But you know what, though? The Red Ribbon Army Red Zone did have 5 attempts. So maybe at least they're going to make the regular amount of attempts per day 5 instead of 3 on the older Red Zone, which would be kind of nice. I hope they do that. Let's move on now. Question 2. Are there currently any plans to implement anything past the Extreme Z Awakening? Ooh. Oh, actually, there's a lot here. I believe we referenced this possibility in a survey that we put out at an earlier point, so that might be why we received this question. We're unsure at this time whether or not we're going to be implementing something like this. We understand that there are a lot of characters who have already received Extreme Z Awakenings and cannot keep up with the current environment of the game and therefore are in need of help in some way. However, if we do implement a mere extension of the EZA system to help these characters, the same cycle will inevitably repeat itself down the line. So we're currently trying our best to think of a more long-term solution to this issue. Honestly, this is a perfect answer. They don't know what they want to do yet. They're trying to think of something better than an EZA, because an EZA is a temporary measure. And this also speaks to the longevity of Dokkan. If Dokkan were ending in 2 years, they would just do an EZA too, because that means a unit becomes relevant for the next 2 years, after which the game shuts down. But the fact that they are thinking long-term beyond that, and they're trying to tackle an underlying issue, really just speaks to how much that the game is going to keep continuing, how committed they are to continue, furthering this game. So this actually not only is a good answer, but it also makes me feel good as a Dokkan consumer that the game's just going to keep going and evolving. So I don't know what they could do, honestly. Like, I don't have any ideas off the top of my head, unless it's like some sort of live updating, like with each year, these characters all receive updates of equal value. I don't know if they could do something like that. That might be a little much for a mobile game, but who knows? That's their answer, though. Moving on to question number 3. What do we got here? I personally think it's been nice that you guys have been releasing non-main characters such as Videl, Yamcha, Ginyu, etc. as Dokkan Festival exclusives. Are there plans to continue this moving forward? I agree. I like that too. Even though we don't all summon on them, I do like that they are making these other characters also relevant and pretty busted. Yes, we have plans to continue doing this. We're interested in hearing directly from the players what aspects of these less popular characters are most liked, animations, kits, etc. I think first and foremost for me, the kit is most important. If the unit is good and busted, I don't really care what the animations are like. I will still want to use the unit. I think the animations are very superficial, but also equally important, because that's like your window into the experience of using the character, whether they're good or bad. If the animation is very much satisfying and very cool to look at, that might overcompensate for the fact that the unit's kit might not be so good. So I feel like a balance of both is very important, and I hope that they continue to do that with these obscure characters. Yamcha's pretty strong. Ginyu's pretty good. Ginyu's one of the best TURs out there right now. So I hope that they continue to do that. It doesn't all have to be just Goku, Vegeta. Bringing other characters into the forefront is good for the game. Competitive balance is good. Continue. Question number 4. Are you guys considering the addition of functions that would allow us to fight together with our friends, even through online functionality? The current friend system provides very little in the area of connecting people, and it almost feels like a waste. Now, honestly, I never even considered this, like really just using more of the friend system. To me, it was just always a means to an end, but I guess people are thinking about it. There are a lot of areas that we're considering improvement as far as the friend system goes. The concept of playing with friends in an online game vastly differs depending on the individual, i.e., do you view friends you play with online as family, normal friends, or just short-term acquaintances? Honestly, the latter for me. This will determine the best way to move forward with changes to the system in Dokkan, as we want to make the most suitable changes for our players as we plan the years ahead. We look forward to receiving more feedback from our players as we continue to receive or release surveys in the future. Like, one of the conversations that a lot of people have had in the past was like the guild system, right? Like, if Dokkan adopted a guild system, that would completely change the way you look at the friend system. Because for me personally, my friend system used to be anyone who would watch my streams, who would be available whenever I would drop my friend code, first come, first serve, you're in. But now, with the chain battle being what it is, I have now had to completely abandon that mentality, and now I have to remove certain friend units in favor of those who are hardcore chain battle gods or super duper tryhards for chain battle events. Because for me, I need them to get better scores on my chain battle. So in the future, if there's a guild system, then I would also want some of my friends to be there, fellow content creators, other people who might need help in general in Dokkan. They may not have the best support lines for chain battle, but I have to consider that when including them. So it's a lot to really process, and I really wasn't thinking that the friend system was going to be something that people would really ask about. But if they were to do something more with the friend system, that would probably involve a pretty massive overhaul of the core game. So I don't really know if they would do anything with it, which is kind of why this answer just, I don't know, kind of just, it seems like a non-answer in my opinion. It's just like, yeah, we know there's some stuff that we could do, but there's a lot to consider. We'll see what you guys have to say in future surveys, because I guess, you know, community feedback is important. So let's move on here. Question number 5. I want you guys to add a ceiling that would guarantee new characters on their debut banners once hit. Yeah, aka pity system. I want a pity system. Omatsu, what do you have to say about that? As a player myself, I completely understand where this person is coming from. We understand that in other titles, certain pity systems exist where it is possible to acquire the newest character on their debut banner after performing a set amount of summons, i.e. a ceiling. In Dokkan, we have the gacha coin system, and we feel that this is sufficient at this time. Therefore, we have no current plans to introduce a ceiling system where players would be able to guarantee a new character on their debut banner. Here's why they won't do that. Number 1, they're making a ton of money as it is. Their setup works and it earns them a ton of revenue. There is no reason to change it. It's like a store. When a store is on its last legs, they will do a going out of business sale to try to extract as much money as they possibly can from the consumer base before they ultimately shut down. Likewise, Dokkan is in no position to be doing that because they're not going to be shutting down anytime soon. Therefore, there is no reason to implement the ceiling, the gacha pity system. Once the game starts to once they start to realize, okay, you know what, Dokkan has lived its full life cycle, we're going to start to end this game in a few years, then they will throw in the pity system. That's how I foresee this playing out, because until then, they are not going to change what is already working for them. Business-wise, they have no reason to. Obviously, we would like it. They're not going to do that. They want money. Moving on to question number 6. What are your guys' thoughts on the World Tournament mode, including the content of the mode and its functionality? Omatsu laughed when he was asked this question. As the attendees of this meeting are of the top 50 players of the most recent World Tournament, I'm sure that you all have your own opinions about this mode. We have in fact received a lot of questions and requests specifically about this mode from the attendees today. From what I'm able to discuss with you today, we also have, we as a development team understand the frustrations a lot of people have with this mode. We are currently considering which areas of the World Tournament mode to get rid of and what areas we feel are still necessary. So as an answer to this question directly, as a development team, we are a bit unsure right now of the best way to proceed. So we're looking to receive more direct feedback on areas you'd like to see remain and gotten rid of as it pertains to this mode. So from what I'm gathering from this, nothing's going to be changing anytime soon. They are very much aware that certain elements of the World Tournament are not liked, which is important. But what they're going to be doing as far as changing it, overhauling it, we have no idea and don't expect that anytime soon. But again, Dokkan's going to be around for a while, so I wouldn't worry. In terms of them eventually dropping it, it will happen. Because if this game were to shut down in like 2 years, none of this would really matter, honestly, and they would probably drop the changes right now. But Dokkan will continue, folks. It will continue to remain awesome, and it will continue to evolve. Let's go to the last question, because this actually sort of ties in to the last question. The last question is, are there plans to continue releasing new iterations of characters in the future who already have full representation of their animations in high quality? Basically, if there's overlap on characters, will you continue to release those characters in the future? Here's what Amatsu had to say. As the attendee... Oops, wrong one. Hold on. I clicked the wrong one. All right, here we go. I have the feeling this question might be referring to characters such as Ultimate Gohan, who released as part of the Superhero Celebration, or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta released during the 7th anniversary, and we have actually gotten this question quite a lot. At this point in time, I can't really discuss details. However, we absolutely will continue to release new iterations of characters in the future who already have their full slew of animations in the game. Generally speaking, we have the character release schedule up until the 10th anniversary more or less planned out already, and for anniversary celebrations, we will always be sure to release characters who live up to the hype and expectations of our users. Let's go! 10th anniversary! In line with this, we understand how important it is for these characters to have new and exciting animations, so we are in the process of concocting ways to make this happen for the players, or for the characters referenced in this question. So, a lot of things to take away from this. Number one, they have a timetable scheduled out for at least 2 more years, which means they are planning ahead. In terms of how this could potentially interact with the release of Dragon Ball, I would imagine that if like the Dragon Ball anime came back next year or the year after, then their adjustments would be made for the schedule in terms of new units coming out. They'll probably do some sort of like simultaneous releases, kind of how they did back when Super was on its last legs. It was about to end. I would imagine they will probably do something similar. But yeah, with all these different changes that they would like to implement, with all the different changes that global or JP players would like to see, you know, this is going to take some time for them to ultimately do all of this. But the fact that they are committed to continuing to evolve the game moving forward, I feel like is going to help this game last for some time. So I like what I've seen here. Obviously, some of the answers weren't exactly what I wanted, mainly the pity system, but still, in terms of long-term, the Dokkan game, the Dokkan community, Dokkan community is going to continue pushing this game, and I hope that the producers can really, you know, make a concerted effort to listen to the players and really get the content out that matters, the updates out that matter. So this was actually a lot more than I was expecting. I was expecting this to be kind of short, but there's actually a lot of stuff in here. So I'm happy with this. Big shout out to Garesh for translating all of this and allowing me to read all of this stuff. Pretty cool. And yeah, Dokkan is here to stay. So if y'all are thinking Dokkan's ending in 2 years, think again. All right, we're done. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on all of these responses made by the producers. What do you like? What do you not like about all of these responses? Is there anything in particular that you would like personally to be dropped in Dokkan as soon as possible? Any sort of update, any sort of unit, anniversary? What do you think the 9-year anniversary is going to be at this point? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Dokkan content in the future and click the notification bell so that you'll let you know when I see more of my stuff. Do it! Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.